Welcome to Fitzy's Fabulous Scrapbooks. I'm Michelle Fitzgerald, aka Fitzy, and I'm an independent advisor for creative memory scrapbooking, and I'm here to help you make your scrapbooks fabulous. And tonight, I am so excited to show you some really cool, quick, and easy tips for recipe templates. I've been getting a lot of requests for this, and I want to show you how I use them, and hopefully it will help you make better use of your template and your time and your paper. All right, so let's get down to my workspace here and get things started. And I just want to say I met some of my fabulous YouTube subscribers and followers at the CKC event this past weekend in Manchester, New Hampshire. So a shout out to Maggie and Julie, and there were a few others. So it was so fun to meet you all. And I'm glad you came over or asked to say hello. It's just fun to meet people. So and if you are one of those people I met at CKC, please go ahead and put your name in the comments and let me know you're here. I would love to say hello again. All right, so recipe templates. Let's look at what some of them look like. Now, I have a lot of them. I probably don't have every single one, but probably pretty close to it. I store them all in my sort and stash binder. And inside the sort and stash binder, I just have to get around my little microphone here, so hold on. But I have a 12 by 12 fill and file sleeve. So the templates fit really nicely into these sleeves, all right? And when I store my templates, I store not just the template, but the top sheet or the cover sheet that comes in the package with it. And I'll show you why in just a minute. All right. But this is where and how I store my templates. All right. So let me put this away. And I'm just again watching my microphone. All right. So let's look at some different ways we can use the template. So one way is to just use the template with both paper and photos. So this is an older one. It's no longer available, but I just want to give you the idea of what you can do. So here I've used some decorative papers with some of my photos and worked with the template. I apologize for the sticky notes, but I didn't want to use people's faces unless I got their permission, and I just didn't have time to call people or text. So we got sticky notes instead. But my daughter and I were fine. All right, so that's one way to use recipe templates. Now, another way to use them, and let me just open to this page here, is by using a lot of paper and a few photos. So in this example here, everything is pretty much paper except for my middle photo. And that's a picture of my daughter and I really loved it. And I just wanted that to be the focus of attention. So again, really pretty, right? And these are pretty simple to use. So I like that. All right, so now my third way of using the recipe template, and this is kind of a cool thing to do. Now I use recipe templates as title pages sometimes, but I also use it for that one piece at the back of the album that you don't know what to do with. So here, this whole album was a Washington, D.C. trip. And one of the things we got to do, and I'm just trying to pull this so you can see it better, is we got to visit the White House. And there were all beautiful flower gardens and everything was in bloom. It was April in DC, right? So the cherry blossoms are out. It was beautiful. But all of the pictures here, well, everything on this page is part of a photo except for this piece, and this piece. everything else is a photo. And these were all photos that I was going to trash because I wasn't using them anywhere else in the album. But then as I started to look closely, I'm like, these are really pretty. This could make a really pretty page with all the different flowers and trees. So I just started cutting out pieces of the photos and placing them in like so, and came up with this. And it's one of my favorite pages that I've ever made, with or without a recipe template. So I just wanted to show you there are different ways to use these, and there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever works for what you have. All right, so let me show you a couple of things. Tonight, I'm going to be showing you the Line It Up template. Now, this is made for an 8x8 album, but I'm going to show you how to use it on a 12x12 page. But you can certainly use it in an 8x8 album because, as you can see, that's pretty much what the size is, right? Okay. There's a couple of things to take into consideration when you're using a recipe template. Now, remember how I told you to hold on to this cover sheet that comes with it? This cover sheet is going to become your map. So what I do with every template, the first time I use it, is I go ahead and take a black Sharpie. And on the very top of the template, and I know this is going to seem silly, and I'm just going to use this so I don't get on my mat, but I'm just going to write the word top on the top front piece. And on the very bottom right-hand corner where it says Creative Memories, I'm also going to write the word front. And then over here to the left, I always put my name. I just put Fitz. So that way, if it gets lost, you know, when you go to an event, everybody's stuff gets mixed up. So I always like to know I have my stuff together. All right. So now I am labeled. Now, the reason I do this is sometimes, especially when you get a bigger template and there's a lot going on, you forget where you started and you forget like where the front of the template was. Did I turn it over for a minute and then I turned it back? So this is going to help guide you. All right. And I have found this to be immensely helpful. So I would highly recommend it. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is just take a basic pencil and I'm going to trace this whole template onto the back of the cover sheet. All right. So just go ahead and trace. And I won't do the whole thing now because I don't want to hold the whole video up, but I'm going to go around. I'm going to trace every little piece of this template. All right. I don't think I have the best pencil working for me here, but we're just going to go with it. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to know where things go. That's the important part. And this is a little one, so it doesn't actually take too much time to do this one. But some are a little more intricate than others, and it will take a little more time. All right. So I'm just getting, and again, it's not going to be perfect, and I'm terrible at tracing. I'll be the first one to admit it. So that just even tells me even more that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And once you've traced your template, you never have to do it again, and you can use it over and over again. So it really does benefit you to go ahead and trace. And you can see, whoops, see, made a big mistake. And this is a terrible eraser, so I'm not going to worry about it now, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish tracing. But you'll get the idea. All right, so just about done. All right, so basically, there's my map. Now I know how everything is going to fit onto the page. Oops, and I think I forgot to do the circle on this part. So let me just put that in because that's an important piece. Oopsie. Now, when you buy your first template, I recommend getting the whole kit because it will come with a photo labeling pencil, which is a grease pencil, and it will come with clips. So you can actually clip the template onto your paper or, onto your base page. That's really where I like to clip it. All right. Now, we have our little outline done. Now, when I look at this template, I see the circles. So my brain says, I wonder if this will work with the custom cutting system. And it does. So if you use your largest circle with your blue blade on the inside groove, you will get these circles. Super easy. All right. So I'm using this new, let me see what it's called here. I think it's Sunflower Fields collection. And I've pulled out a few pieces of paper that I really love. And I think I'm going to use maybe this brown piece as the background or my base piece. And then I'm going to use some of these as the decorative elements. All right. So the first thing I think I want to do is cut out my sunflowers. And I'm going to make those the circles. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my custom cutting system large pattern with the blue blade and cut out 2 circles using the inside groove. Now, if you've never used the custom cutting system, it's really easy. All right. The most important thing to remember is don't move your pattern until you're done cutting. But once you do, here's your perfect circle. All right, so I'm going to cut out 2 of these. All right. So here's where my little map comes into play. So now I know I have cut out that piece and I've cut out this piece. All right, now I have more to cut. So I think my next thing is going to be these 2 straight pieces on the side. And these 2 pieces actually, I measured them already. So let me just see. I wrote the measurements down just to be on the safe side. So the long way comes out to be 7 3/16 of an inch. And it's 3/4 of an inch wide. So what I'm going to do is bring out my my 12-inch trimmer. And I'm going to cut 2 3/4 of an inch strips. And I'm going to use the yellow. So 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to do 2. Okay. Now I'm going to take these strips and I'm going to stack them together. I'm going to pull out the arm of the trimmer and I'm going to line this up at the 7 3/16 of an inch. And that is 3 marks after the 7. So I have my 7 here and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And go ahead and cut. And now I'm going to put this on my little map. Oops. And again, this is just to give me a little bit of direction so I know what I'm doing. All right. And now I've got these little pieces here. So I measured those out also. And they end up being, let me just see here, what do I have? I have two measurements here, 2 3/4. I don't know what that last measurement's for. All right, so I'm going to do 2 3/4 by 1 3/16 of an inch. So I'm going to measure the width at 2 3/4. Now I want to bring some orange into this too. So I'm also going to measure the orange at 2 3/4. All right, so we have our width, and now we have to do 1 3/16 of an inch. So we're going to go to the 1 inch, and then that's going to be 3 little marks after the 1. All right. One, two. So I can already put these like so. And then I'm going to do 2 3/4. Oh, wait, nope, sorry. 1 3/16. I already did that. And the good thing is, if you're not exactly precise, it's okay, because some of this is going to be behind the little grid part of your template. All right, so 1 3/16. All right, so there we go. All right, so now let's just take a look at where we're at. I'm going to put the trimmer aside for a minute. Now, what's interesting with this particular one, I could put this smack dab in the middle and it'll look fine. Maybe I'll make these photos instead of a decorative element. However, I could put this up here like so. And then this could be photos all the way around, right? Or I could turn it and again have photos all the way around. So let's see what it looks like. Now, when I do this, one thing I want you to know, and on a small little template like this, oh, you know what? I think I forgot to cut these little pieces. So let's cut those as well. I think that was my third measurement. So let's do, we already have this part cut, the 2 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cut it at about an inch. So let's do 1. I'm going to do the orange. Just to bring a little more orange into it. And sometimes I'm still guessing too. So it's not an exact science, but at least you get an idea of how to create with this and make it a little easier. My number one best tip is do your labeling and draw out your map so you have it all handy, okay? Now, I noticed with this one, it's going to be a little tricky. So I just cut the pieces as so, and then I'll maneuver them a bit once I get everything down on the paper. So don't worry too much about it, okay? Now, what's interesting, if I want, and quite frankly, because this area here is, to me, looks a little complicated. So why not just make it easy and let that part show through, right? Why make it harder than it needs to be? Now, this is where your little clips are going to come into play. Now, I know some people will use repositionable tape runner and tack it down. However, this is a darker piece of paper, and sometimes the repositionable, even if you just do a little amount, it might take a little bit of the color off the paper. And I really don't want to do that. So I'm just going to take my little clips, and I've decided I'm going to put this like so, because I really want all this space here for my photos. And this is going to be the decorative part of my page. Let me just get that. So I'm just clipping the two top corners. I'm not going to clip anything else, and I'll show you why in a minute. Now that you have it clipped and we know all the pieces that we've cut, I'm going to go with my tape runner and tape runner everywhere I'm putting paper. Excuse me. I think I'm catching a little bit of a cold or something. And I'm not shy with the tape runner on these because I just want to make sure they actually do fit onto the page. Because we do a little bit of moving around with the template, I want to make sure everything's secure. But it doesn't have to take hours of your day to do one of these if you have a little plan. All right. Oop. And I'm going to do this little piece here. And I might just have to do a little fussy cutting to get this to fit. And I'm all right with that. But the other thing I'm looking at is it may just, well, we'll see. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take my pieces and I'm going to start plugging them in. All right. And the good thing is, oop, I guess I didn't measure this one too well, but that's okay. It's still going to work fine. So I'm just going to try to center these in the little template boxes. But you're getting the idea on how to use the templates, and that's the point here. All right, so now I'm going to take my little circles. So now what I'm going to do is gently lift the template. Oops, I need my multi-purpose tool. Give me a second. And I'm saying gently because, there we go. Some of my pieces are glued down, but I'm just going to gently lift and push the paper down as I'm lifting. It's really simple. All right. And now I'm going to go in and put my little circles where they belong. And this is why repositionable is very important, because you're going to have to move it around a little bit. All right, there's one. And there's two. All right, and now I'm going to leave that on for another second. And I'm just going to decide how I want to do that. I think what I'll do, leave that there. And there is my pencil. Oh, I went over here. I'm just going to get a little idea of where the circle is. So then I can just take my scissors and fussy cut that. Now, a lot of times when you do these templates, there is a lot of fussy cutting to deal with. And I'm going to show you something else I've done too, just to give you the idea. That's pretty good. So I'm going to actually take this other piece and use that as my little template here. And cut out this one. All right. Now I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to put this one here. And now I'm going to take the clips off and lift the template. Oops, I did this one a little crooked, so it just has to be adjusted. Oh, I don't have a good eye tonight. All right. And now you've got the whole brown area showing through. All right. Sure, I like these two pieces, so I might just take them off and leave this as is. I kind of like that better. But I love the little circles and the daisy print. And then I can just get that adhesive off. So sometimes you do have to play with it and decide what you like and what you don't like. And I think I did cut these pieces a little shorter, and I think that's why I don't like these, because it's too wide. So that's something I can easily just go back and fix. It's not a huge deal. But the idea is to just show you how this works. Now, let me show you something else, because I think these are important tips with these templates. Let me just move this out of the way and make sure to go back, because you will get a lot of repositionable tape on your template. So make sure when you're done, you clean it off. So that way, the next time you use it, you'll be all set and you won't have things sticking to it. Now, this one, did I drop something? I'm not sure. I think I dropped a piece, but I used the Tropic Time recipe template to create, let me show you this one first, this layout. Now, if you watched me on CCI back in February of this year, I created this page, okay? This is all from different photos of sunsets I took when we were on a vacation down in Naples, actually, or maybe it might have been the Cape, I'm not sure. But I took all of those sunset pieces, cut them out, and put them on like so. And I just think it made a really cool looking page, right? So use this as inspiration to use up all those scraps of photos. I mean, if you've printed them, you've already paid for them. So you might as well get as much money as you, as much bang for your buck as you can, right? Because printing photos is not cheap. So the other thing I wanted to show you with this is sometimes you can just use a piece of a template. Let me just put this over here, because that's my next thing to show you. And for example, I didn't use the whole template, but I used pieces of the template to create the corners and to create this little frame around a picture of my husband and I. So what I did here, I really liked the look of this corner, and I'm just going to lift this one off so you can see where I cut. And this is my little map here. All right. And oops, I got to look at it again. How did I do this? Oh, it was this part. I took a piece of the star and I went around and cut all 4 sides. And these became the corners of my layout down here. All right. And it's such a small little thing, but doesn't it have a great impact on this page? I just love the corners. And then I didn't want to use all of these frames, so I just took one size. I think I used the 3rd one in and just created from there. Now, when you're creating and tracing, I'm just trying to find a piece of scrap paper here. So give me 1 second. Let me see if I can show you on this one. Oh, here's the scrap paper I was looking for. Okay. So when you're looking at the template, just trying to get the map behind it. As you can see, they all look like the pieces are the same, but just gradually different sizes, right? Until you get in the middle, then things get a little different. So suppose I want to create this piece here. Now I have labeled these pieces. I don't typically do this on every template, but this one I felt like I needed to do it. So I labeled 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, and it just goes on. So my map on this one is very important because I want to show you why. When you are tracing your template, you want to trace the side that you don't want to see. So if this is the side I want to look at, I'm going to trace this side, but I want to show you what happens. And I'm just going to do a small piece just to make my point and not take up too much time. So I'm just going to do this little piece here. I want that nice little plaid to show up so I can make this as dark as I want, right? So now I'm going to go and I'm just going to fussy cut this piece out. Give me a sec. Now, some people love these recipe templates because they kind of, for me, it's stress relief. I love to do puzzles. So for me, this is my kind of thing. I just love it. And I love having this little map here. And this is really going to make a difference when you see what's coming now. So here's my piece. And this is the side I want to use. And it was this piece here that I traced, okay, where my finger is popping out here. So when I go to my map, this piece is 4E, and it's this piece right here. Well, when I turn it to the side I want to use, look what happens. It's not going in the right direction. But if I move it over to the corresponding piece for F, it fits perfectly on the side of the paper I want. This is why you need the map, okay? Because all of these pieces, yes, they're the same, but if you're tracing on the back of the paper, so the part of the paper you don't want to see, you're going to have to put it on the opposite side after you're done cutting. And, you know, if you only had to do it for 1 or 2 pieces, it might not get too confusing. But look at this template. There are so many pieces on it. So you need that map. So what I will do is go ahead and cut all of these pieces on the side I don't want to see, and I'll put them over on the opposite side where they fit. Okay. And then what's going to happen is you're going to know exactly what you have left to do and where these pieces go on your page, because then you're going to clip this whole thing onto your base page like we did over here. And then you're going to add, you're going to take the, I should have mentioned this, take the template off because you're going to be cutting with it. You don't want that on your map. So this is what you want for your map. And you just want all your pieces in place. Once you have everything cut out and your pieces are in place, then you're going to put your template onto the base page with the clips. Take your tape runner and go over everything that needs to be tacked down, and then just start placing all of your pieces. It's really that simple. So it's not as complicated as it needs to be. All right. So now what if I want to cut this piece and I want it to be, hold on, this color? Well, that's simple. I'm going to go to the other piece, the one I just placed on the map, and I'm going to cut that one out. So let's go ahead and do that just so you can see. And I know this can be a little confusing, so I hope this all makes sense. And if you have questions, please put them in the comments and I will do my best to answer. But I think it makes sense. For some reason, that's how it works with my brain. I won't comment too much more on that, though. All right. So I'm just fussy cutting this piece out just to show you. Because it can get a little confusing. And I'm hoping that this maybe takes a little bit of confusion out of the game for you. All right. It's always best to trace on the side you don't want to see, because then you don't have to worry about going back and erasing things at the end of it, right? Because that can be a pain in the neck. So here's the piece I just cut, and now it fits perfectly on that side. All right. So it's pretty much, you're just putting the opposites together. That's all you're doing. So you're going to cut on the same side of the paper for each cut, and you're just going to put them on the opposite side of the map. And you'll see that as you go along. It will make more sense as you do it. All right. But if you get nothing else from this class, use your top sheet to create your map. That is going to save you so much time and trouble. I truly do mean that. If you do nothing else, do that. Okay. But it's fun. And I think once you have the map together, then it's just fun, because then you're just tracing and cutting and placing it on your map. Super simple. But it just takes a little thought. And I thought I had one more I was going to show you. Oh, yeah, I could show you this. So now this is a really old template. You cannot get it anymore. I don't even remember what it's called, although the name's probably on the bottom here. But I was cutting this piece, and I wanted to use this side of the paper, and it's very light, right? But when I cut it on this side, and then I flipped it over, it doesn't work. So this is why you need to use your little map, okay? So when you have a piece like this, it's not a symmetrical shape per se. It's got a different shape to it. And if you want it to fit onto your template correctly or onto your page correctly, you actually will need to trace, and I'm going to show you this. I can do it on this paper, I think. And I don't, off the top of my head, know what other templates have one of these issues, but I know this one does. So I wanted to show it because it's a simple fix, really. So typically, I would trace on the part of the paper I don't want to see. But for this piece, I don't want this orange showing. I want this side showing. So I am going to need to trace it on the side I want to see. So I'm going to trace lightly with the pencil. I'm not going to do anything too dark, just light, but dark enough so I can see it, but not too dark. And then I'm going to go and cut that out. Right. So here's my piece cut out. Let me get my little map. And now the color I want showing is fitting into the piece perfectly. All right. So all you have to do for these crazy pieces that aren't symmetrical, because if I had cut this out here, it obviously doesn't fit, but it really wasn't going to fit correctly on this piece either, because this piece, the shape is just a little bit different, and it probably would have bothered me. I'm not going to lie. So by cutting on the side I want to see, but just tracing lightly, I can't even see the pencil mark on that, right? But it fits in the shape perfectly. All right. So when you have those pieces that aren't symmetrical, always trace on the side you want to see. On a page like this is the Tropic Time one, and this is still available. You can do pretty much all the pieces on this tracing on the side you do not want to see. All right. So I hope that all makes sense. I know it's a lot, and I hope you guys find that helpful for doing templates. It is a little confusing, but I love the results, and that's the big thing. So let me just come over here and get back to my work. Oh, to me, we're already on my workspace. Let's see. Here we go. Hello again. All right. So I hope that was helpful. A couple of things. There are a few templates that are on sale. And this the Line It Up one, I'm just trying to pull it out over here. This one is on sale for $6. And again, you can use it for an 8x8 album, or you can use it on a 12x12 page. And again, don't forget to turn them. Every time you turn them, it gives you something different, right? And on some of these, if you turn them and put them backwards, it might even give you a different look. So play around with the templates. They're a lot of fun, and you can get so creative with them. And don't think that you have to use every piece of the template. You can use the whole template, but you can use pieces of it too, like I did with the Tropic Time one here. Pieces make a great page. Okay. So this one and the ribbon template is also on sale for $8. And that one's normally $15. So it's almost half off. And the sale prices are good through October 30th. So you have some time. And then there are a couple that are in last chance, and the apple template and the sunrise sunset template, they are both in last chance. Okay. So I just wanted to do some work with recipe templates because I think sometimes people are confused by them, and I think they avoid them because they're just really not sure what to do with them. And we did get a lot of questions at the CKC event, and I've gotten a lot of questions anyway in general about recipe templates. And I'm actually going to do a class on one of the templates as well. So stay tuned. I'll give I'll give details out once I know what I'm doing. We'll figure that out soon. All right. So that's all I have for you tonight. I hope you enjoyed this class. And as always, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. And please tell your friends. The more the merrier. I'd love to have them join in on Sunday nights when we check out our videos. All right. If you need to get in touch with me, please email me at fitzy'sfabulousScrapbooks@gmail.com. Email me a couple of times if it doesn't go through. I've been having some issues with emails going to spam. I'm still trying to work that out because I'm not quite sure what's going on. But please don't think I'm ignoring you. But keep trying to reach out, and hopefully we'll get this issue solved soon. All right. If you don't already have an advisor, I would love to be yours. But if you already have one, stick with your fabulous advisor. She's working hard for you, and that's a great thing. But if you don't have one, I'd love to be yours. You can visit my website at www.creativememories.com/user/Michelle Fitz. And if you would like to join our Facebook group, we are FRQ Glitz Girls Scrapbooking Group. You'll have to answer a few questions and agree to the rules. We'll know you're not a scammer once you do that, and we will approve you to let you in. All right. That is all I have. Whoosh, that was a lot of information. Sorry. All right. So I hope you all have a great week. I'm so glad you all joined me tonight. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.